This right here has to be one of the dumbest takes heading into 2024. Paul Ryan, y'all remember him? He was on the ticket with Mitt Romney in 2012. He was the Speaker of the House for the Republicans in 2016. He is a vehement Never-Trumper, and where did that land him? He's got a board position with Fox News. Funny how all that stuff ends up ultimately working out. But he gave his prediction for 2024, and he said that Donald Trump, if he decides to run, will not be the Republican nominee in 2024. What polls is he looking at? Okay, like what is he asking his friends? Okay, I've talked to a bunch of Republicans out there. I talked to Fred Upton, Adam Kinzinger, Liz Cheney, and they all agree. They all know they're a part of the Republican Party after all. They say that Trump is in fact not going to win because he's just going to be unelectable. Oh, tell me you're stupid without having to say you're actually fucking stupid. Just demonstrate. Don't explicate. Former Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, a Republican, really, of Wisconsin, said during an interview that aired Thursday that former President Donald Trump will not be the Republican Party's presidential nominee in 2024. Ryan, a Fox News board member, remember that. Whenever Fox News has some brain-dead fucking basement tier level take a look who's on the board. Remember when they hired Donna Brazile to be a contributor? Yeah, the same Donna Brazile who was getting leaked questions for Hillary Clinton from CNN? Yeah, that very same one. Fox News, outside of maybe Tucker Carlson, they ain't your friend, okay? They're controlled opposition. They're all a part of that media uniparty. Claim that Trump, who received more votes than any incumbent president in history, but not as many as Joe Biden, the current chairman. The 46th president of the United States. 81 million votes. Can't be wrong at all, but it pales in comparison to the 74, just about 75 million that Donald Trump received in 2020. Couldn't possibly match that. Nope, don't look at any of the polls that are out there. Don't take a look at any of those blank ballot forms that just show that there's finally, for the first time in just about recorded history, that Republicans have the edge on just a blank slate, okay? If it was just simply an R and a D on a piece of paper, Republicans have the edge for the first time in history, okay? Why? Oh, because of all of the candidates that are out there? Yeah, basically, the perception that the Democratic Party is frankly tanked any goodwill that they have for them, that also adds to it. But what direction is the country moving in stark contrast to where the country is being forced to be pushed? Interesting. It seems to line up with one political party. It seems to line up with one political party's overarching message going forward. And whose is that? Oh, it's got to be Paul Ryan's, right? Of course. Trump's unelected will be palpable by then. Oh, by 2024, his unelectability. Right. Okay. After all of these show trials get run through. Oh, okay. And Trump, which I certainly hope. I hope he goes in front of that January 6th committee and then just fucking hits them with a flamethrower. He'll ultimately just, I don't know if he can kick the can down the road into the point where the January 6th committee ultimately gets disbanded or not, or if he can fight it. Like I stated before, when that ended up dropping to begin with, just please go, and then just show off your latent charisma and put it back out on the biggest stage, okay? Because then everybody will be paying attention to that, and you can just fight and dispel all of the stupid rumors and all of the different smoke and mirror tactics that they're using. Because that would kill those committee hearings faster than having to listen to Liz Cheney's lingerie selections. Nothing would do that better. Or being vindicated on the Mar-a-Lago raid whenever that ultimately gets figured out. Haven't heard a lick about that. But watch, I say that, and then we'll just hear a whole bunch of stuff of that because it'll be like a minute before the midterms. Anyways, back to this. Paul Ryan is just so fucking stupid. Fox News being a talking head, it's a good place for him. We all know that he's so much more likely to lose the White House than anybody else running for president on our side of the aisle. Oh, I could think of a few names, the ones that have considered running. Nikki Haley, Mike Pence, Liz Cheney said that she's going to run in 2024. Oh, fucking hilarious. Asa Hutchinson. I think there's a couple of other names that are there, obviously. If it's Ron DeSantis, if Trump doesn't run or is disqualified from running, or if it's Trump, they're taking over. They're fucking taking over, okay? Especially if there's not going to be any pandemic to peddle. Like, it's fucking done, dude. Like, stop it. You don't. The reason you aren't an active member of Congress right now is because you don't know what the fucking public wants. That was obvious. It was obvious back then. It's even more obvious right fucking now. But back to what he was saying. More likely to lose the White House than anybody else running for president on our side of the aisle. So why would we want to go with that? However, Ryan's view on Trump is inconsistent with recent polls that show him leading over President Joe Biden in a hypothetical 2020 election rematch. I'd like to see the hypothetical 2016 rematch, because we're also likely to see that as well, because who knows? Because the next 2 years, if you thought the past 2 years were a fucking roller coaster of emotions, oh boy, the next 2 years are definitely going to be a bit of a fucking head fuck. Ryan claimed that Trump is only the de facto leader of the GOP because everybody's afraid of him. Well, okay. If everybody's afraid of him, anybody who's currently in the GOP right now is not at all fit for leadership, because if they're scared of somebody who doesn't even hold elected office right now, what use are they running the country? You might as well keep Joe Biden in there. There, I fucking said it. Because at least he had the audacity to, or at least whoever is behind Joe Biden, and still he was the face of all this stuff, the wilting face, the oddly Botoxed and hair-plugged face, to go out there and face off against Trump. The only reason he stays where he is because everybody's afraid of him. They're afraid of going after them, hurting their own ambition, Ryan said. Unfucking believable. Ryan also claimed that other Republican politicians would have better chances of defeating a Democrat in 2024. Well, who are you tacitly endorsing? But as soon as you get that herd mentality going, it's unstoppable. So I think the fact that he polls so much poorer than anybody else running for president as a Republican against a Democrat is enough right there. He's gonna know this. Brother, have you fucking looked at any of the polls that are out there? Literally any of them. Trump, whenever he's included on the ballot, he is overwhelmingly supported by his constituency, and then also looking favorable, if not on par, with any other Democrat that could be on the ballot. There's nothing there that comports to your reality. Ryan reportedly listed Ron DeSantis, Glenn Youngkin, Senator Tim Scott, fuck off, as the top 3 picks for 2024. Yeah, exactly. So there's the, DeSantis 2024 crowd. Or, Tulsi Gabbard just left the Democratic Party. She should run for president as a Republican. That'll own the libs. Are you fucking retarded? I gave my tacit endorsement of Tulsi Gabbard, okay, when she released her very obvious "I'm leaving the left." It's like, yeah, the left left you like 5 fucking years ago. I'm glad you caught up to that. She still has more red flags than Tiananmen Square, and she's a great number 2, but as an actual leader, Ron DeSantis seems content in Florida. Okay, we'll have to see what Kari Lake ultimately does in Arizona. That could be fine. Stupid Megyn Kelly is out there stumping, and I might do something with this, and I'm not entirely sure, saying that Tulsi Gabbard and Kristi Noem, okay, the governor who was too fucking weak-kneed at the time, once her legislature passed the bill in order to ban transgender athletes in girls' sports, to sign it because, I don't want to upset the NCAA, wanting to push that ticket because, in her words, it would be the best-looking ticket that's out there. Whenever I say repeal the 19th, it's always with a tinge of sarcasm, a little bit hyperbolic. But you're really making it difficult to add the hyperbole over top of that when you have such stupid fucking statements like that. Ryan warned the Democrats could use Trump as a weapon against Republicans. He's a cudgel against us, especially in our swing districts. Oh my God, honestly, if Ryan was actually being fair about all this stuff, he would understand. It's like, okay, what was the biggest knock against Mitt Romney in 2012? Okay, prior to his statements that were out there, his father was a career loser, and he's just kind of following in his footsteps. Sure, he was the governor of Massachusetts, and he did it kind of tacitly well. He was just kind of a carpetbagger who moved out to Utah in order to secure a very safe Senate position. Oh, okay, cool. But then outside of that, it's like, okay, cool. Didn't really have all that many skeletons in his closet until Obama just decided to really dig in on that binders of women statement. Republicans will always be pilloried because Democrats have the mass media apparatus in their fucking pocket. They will make the Republican opposition the worst people on the planet. Happened to Bush, which is, kind of fine. It happened to McCain until they needed to resuscitate him, unfortunately kept him alive longer because he started to take shots at Trump. Goes all the way back to Nixon, okay, blowing Watergate completely out of proportion. I gotta do a dedicated video on all that stuff. It made Gerald Ford a bumbling asshole who falls down the steps. Funny how they don't want to talk about anybody who falls up the steps. But anyways, yeah, and then also not noting that an assassination attempt happened within 48 hours of that. Yeah, don't want to talk about any of that shit, now do ya? And then Reagan, yes, well, I forgot, well... And then just completely running with that narrative, you know, just completely sweeping his accomplishments under the rug and continue attacking him. Sir, you're old, but then, oh yeah, imagine that. Imagine running that narrative back some 40 years later. Hey, Joe Biden, you're old, I think. But that's fine, though. There's nothing wrong with that. You're totally fine, completely competent, 1,000% lucid. No conflicts of interest right there. And then you get the other side of the aisle. Hey, did you know that Barack Obama was a chain smoker? Oh, weird. Didn't hear anything about that. How about the Epstein flights for Bill Clinton when he was in office? Or how much they minimized him getting fucking sucked off in the Oval Office. Funny about all that stuff, right? But no. Republicans can always be compared to Hitler, and Democrats basically walk on water. That's the way it is. So if you ever get that fucking idea in your head, well, if Trump runs in 2024, he has so much baggage, that's why we should just run DeSantis. We've already seen the tacit comparisons. What's her name? Fucking Nikki Fried. Decent tits, horrific face. Was already making those comparisons. Well, I'm Jewish and he's basically Hitler. They'll take anything they can. You don't think that they wouldn't weaponize? Oh, he was flying brown people out in order to just intimidate us. He was using immigrant lives, okay, as political pawns. Can you believe this guy? Meanwhile, not paying any attention to the fact that Biden was using taxpayer dollars to get Texas immigrants, okay? Those ones flew out to all the large cities and in the middle of the country as well. That's all fine. That's not a national emergency. But when Ron DeSantis decides to fucking meme the shit out of you rich white people, oh, he deserves to be investigated by every fucking alphabet agency under the yellow sun. Make that shit make sense. Damn, there's so much rhino hunting to do in this one. This was gonna curtail into another video here, but hey man, there's just so much meat on this bone right here, and I get the opportunity to dig into all this stuff that's only going to be relevant until the midterms in a couple of days. Well, whatever. Fuck it. We'll just continue to roll on this one. But yeah, even taking a look at the rest of this stuff, like, okay, Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin. Sure, he was fine. He campaigned great, but I don't really know what he's done in Virginia since then. That could also just be ignorance on me. 1,000%. I concede that point. But outside of him just kind of throwing it out there, but there's a lot of shit to still do in Virginia right now, so I don't know if you can really afford to take the foot off the gas for a second. And then Tim Scott, like, aside of just being black, like, Tim Scott doesn't fucking do anything. Those are horrific picks. I would rather have Ted Cruz, for Christ's sakes. I'd like Rand Paul, but that guy has the charisma of a tube sock, so who fucking cares? That's another great number two. You've got a bunch of good number twos right there, okay? Glenn Youngkin, he's fine, okay? Ron DeSantis, yeah, Ron DeSantis is a number one, okay? But it all pales in comparison. They all right now sit in the shadow of Daddy Trump, and you got to fucking reconcile with that. Until he's not capable of holding office, until he's stepping away from the race, there's nothing you can do about it. Get on the fucking Trump train, because that bitch is fucking rolling all the way to 2024. And so, he runs or not, I don't really think it matters. He's not going to be the nominee, I don't think. Ryan continued. That's nice. Just continue to just spout off in the fucking corner, and then we'll just poke you whenever we need a stupid fucking soundbite. And who served as the House Speaker during Trump's first 2 years in office, has long been at odds with the former president. Ryan has consistently called on the GOP to abandon Trump since he left politics in 2018. You couldn't do fuck all about it during 2016 and 2018 when he had the majority, when you were the Speaker of the House. No, you just impeded and you just fucking railroaded Trump whenever you can, and then you just sulked away into the shadows with your shitty fucking ideas. And then, hey, guess what? Yeah, Fox News decided to sweep you up and give you a cushy spot. But here's where any of his credibility completely goes through the fucking floorboards. Ryan reportedly found himself sobbing. Never cry in public. Oh, how fucking embarrassing. Never even have the idea of you weeping ever be put out there. Oh my lord, that's so fucking embarrassing. After the January 6th Capitol riots, according to a new book from journalist Mark Leibovich. Oh my god. Brother, you weren't even in the fucking state at the time. Oh my god, it's so terrible. They took the podium I used to use. Fuck off. That is fucking embarrassing. Why would anybody listen to this bitch? You cried about a fucking picnic that got a little too violent for your taste. What a bitch. Trump has continually hinted at a run at a second term in 2024, but he has not officially announced his candidacy. Yeah, just wait for the midterms to be over and then for him to just default dance on the corpse of the fucking Democratic Party after they get blown the fuck out. But speaking of getting blown out and doing goofy dances on Democrats, I'm gonna hope to try to line all this stuff up, and if not, we got a funny campaign ad. This is where this one's supposed to line up, but I don't know how all this shit ends up ultimately getting released. So that video about Mike Itkiss, I was gonna lead into this, but there was just so much to talk about Paul Ryan. I think this makes for a nice little condensed video. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.